Hey guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Today I want to talk about masterminds, what they are, where they came from, how important they are. I can assure you, I don't have any kind of paid mastermind group. I'm not selling anything. I'm talking about really the definition of a mastermind and how it's changed my life. So, mastermind, I think the first person that I know of that I'm sure they've been around for years and years and years. Um, but there's a story I remember which is great, which was Henry Ford was actually put on trial. I forget what he was put on trial for, but it was like something he was slandered, and somebody said that he shouldn't be able to make as much money as he makes because he's dumb. He doesn't know anything, and he's not. He shouldn't be a billionaire or whatever the thing was because he's dumb. And anyway, they put him on trial and they ask him all these like questions, like who was the first king of England, who was this, who was that, blah 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 blah. And he said, listen, I don't know any of that. I don't need to know any of that because in my office, I have a button. And if I need to know that information, push this button, and one of the most qualified people to talk about whatever subject comes into my office and gives me this information, which is what he called a mastermind. Um, which is like really the dead honest truth. You can't be the expert of everything, of every subject in the planet Earth. And when you're running a business, you can't be the expert of everything. And if you are the jack of all trades and expert of everything, you're not really running a business. You're just running yourself crazy. So that was the first like guy that I heard that used it. And then there's a book called not Rich Dad, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, where he started talking about masterminds, where he used the definition of it's a group of like-minded individuals that basically you join together and you can learn from each other. You're like-minded. You as a group can do kind of like what we say synergy is, the sum one plus one doesn't equal two, it equals four. Um, so there's many different definitions, but here's my definition. It's a group of like-minded individuals that have similar goals, um, and similar challenges that are working together to honestly help each other. Um, and why do I use that kind of thing? Like, first off, you're not going to be in a group like, let's say I'm the real estate doctor and I do real estate. My mastermind group is not a bunch of real estate people. What would I get from that? Now there are, of course, a lot of people do real estate. There are people that do real estate there, but there's people that don't do real estate. There's people that are different types of business, all kinds. Um, and if you're going to benefit, like you wouldn't want to put yourself in a room of and you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but a mastermind should be where you can get like you have a business person. Actually, they have tons of these things in the United States where you go to a breakfast and they let like one insurance guy in, one financial planner in. I feel like they lost the sense. That's not a mastermind. It's like a networking thing where that one insurance guy gets everybody's referrals. This is not what a mastermind is either. A mastermind is where a group of like-minded individuals. That means people like for my mastermind, which is called the Men of Means. It's a men's mastermind. Sorry for the ladies. Um, it's a group of men that want to better themselves and can be honest with each other. And why do I say can be honest with each other? Um, as a man, a lot of the things that challenges that we have as men is that we don't, you're the head of a household, you're the head of a business. You can't tell your employees, like, I don't know how I'm going to make payroll this Friday. You can't go and tell um, your wife, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills this week. And as a man, it's a lonely situation to be in those. It's lonely. And you hear everybody, oh, this guy's doing great, this guy's doing wonderful, which is most times all bullshit. Everybody has challenges. Everybody. But people are not willing to open up about them because people hurt other people when they know you're down. Unfortunately, not everybody does that. So it's a group of like-minded men that want to better themselves, that are honest, like, hey, I'm having a challenge. And we have very successful guys, and then we have guys that are, lost everything, went bankrupt, and are making a move back. We have people that are just starting out, that are young. You don't want a mix of just the same amount of people. Anyway, in this group, let me tell you how important it is. It has changed my life. Uh, the first, I guess, Well, no, the first, one of the first meetings, probably the third meeting. Basically the group started with me and another guy, Robert. Robert's the president, and it just we went to a Tony Robbins, like one of these big events, and Tony Robbins really does give a lot of value, too much value for me. I can't take 14 hours a day of input. My mind just doesn't take it. So me and Robert and a bunch of other guys that went, we all went back to an Airbnb we were staying at. We smoked cigars, we talked, we were honest, and it was kind of like the impetus of like, wow, man, this was really helpful to talk about like what challenges we had, personal challenges, life challenges with, maybe your wife or your girlfriend, your father, business challenges with employees, kid challenges, all kinds of challenges. And you could honestly talk about them, and there was no judgment, no anything like that. And it was really rewarding. So we said, listen, we should do this. I said, I'll do this with you no matter if any of these guys come back or not. And now we're probably 4 years later, and we do at least two events a year. At sometimes we did three or four where we get together. And um, I'm trying not to make this a 30-minute conversation, but let me just talk about we put together a group. Robert brings in some people, I bring in some people. It's free, doesn't cost anything. We meet every Friday for 30 minutes at 8:30 Eastern, do a Zoom. Your only obligation is you can't come to get fed and not feed us as well. So twice a year we have events, like we have one tomorrow. That's the reason I'm bringing this up, where we're all going to Medellin, Colombia, and we all rent a house and stay in the house, and we bring speakers in, or we also, like, I'm going to do a presentation. Robert does a presentation. Another guy does a presentation. You can't just, feed and not feed us too. So the one obligation of the group is once a year, one of those events you need to personally go to and involve yourself and feed us too. And some of the best interactions in these events are like not even the presentation. So let's say I'm doing one of my presentations is on sales, and sales and marketing. But in between the presentations, you might be washing dishes, sitting having a cigar, talking to somebody in between a meeting. Those interactions are some of the best interactions you get from, I can't even explain it. Like, you get personal relationships, you're in a great setting, and you talk about real life. Anyway, I want to tell you, I was thinking today when I was meditating how the mastermind has changed my life. Probably the third one, and I'm going to do this short. This is a short version of this. Uh, Robert says, "Hey, I'm going to bring this guy. I went to his event in New York, and he's a big speaker. And he's 10,000 for $10,000. He'll come and he'll speak to our group." And there was like 10 of us at the time, and I said, "Well, if you think this guy's good, that's fine. We all split it." He comes. Um, and that guy ended up being my coach. And that guy ended up changing my life. His name is Devin Bandenson. I always talk about him. Um, Changed my life so much that when I returned from that trip, my wife immediately recognized I was changed. Changed so much my life that it was hard for me to even do these masterminds because we would start on like a Thursday or a Friday, and Fridays were payroll days for me, and I couldn't take time, and you know now Fridays I take half of Fridays off. I was taking full Fridays off, but I didn't feel, I felt like, hey, I was wasting. I wanted to do some stuff in the morning, but I went from like a guy that couldn't take a second off at Friday to a guy that can take your whole Friday off. And it's just because I made a decision or I reorganized my life. I went from a guy that hated Monday to a guy that only sees Mondays as opportunities. I got myself a coach. The coach changed my life. I got myself other, like-minded men that have changed my life. Just to give you, like, the last time we did this mastermind is probably like 6 months ago. We did it in the Poconos, in Pennsylvania. And, I write every day in my journal, everything is easy. And that was the one thing that stuck out for me in the last mastermind. And anytime you go to a seminar or something, I always at least need to get one thing. And I write that every day, that everything is easy. We're all sitting here going, oh, this is hard, this is difficult, this. No, everything is easy. And if you go in saying everything is easy, even a challenge, it's easy. It changes everything. It doesn't have to be difficult. The other thing I got is I don't work. I create. I hated the word work. I really don't like the word work. Um, I'm creating every day. And I think work has a negative connotation. Um, so, in any event, these are like small things, but I can tell you that I am completely a different person 4 years after this mastermind has started. Probably four, yeah, 4 years, maybe five. I'm a completely different person. I was not, I wouldn't be telling you, hey, today is the best day of your life. Um, I wouldn't be as positive. I wouldn't be as resilient. I wouldn't be able to take challenges as easily as I take them now. Um, so I guess the point of this is you can create your own mastermind. A mastermind is just a group of people that want to do the same stuff. They want to accomplish, they want to be better in life. They want to be honest with each other. They really want to help each other. And you don't have to help each other with financial we don't do any kind of financial business. We just really realized in the last year we did one in Aruba. We were like, wow, some of us didn't even know what the other guys really did for a living. Like we had an idea, but we had never talked about it. And you know, so we all explained what we do and how we could help each other for the first time. But my point is, you can create your own mastermind, find a group of people. You are, as they say, the correlation of the five closest people that you know, are around you. So if you're around five shit bags, you're going to be a shit bag. Just think about if you have kids. You don't want your kids hanging around with a bunch of bad kids because they're going to end up like bad people. And if you're hanging around with that drama and that heaviness, you're not going to be where you want to go. You're not going to get to where you want to go. So think about creating a mastermind. Start with one guy, or if you're a woman, one girl, one man. It doesn't have to be a men or a woman's mastermind, but as the men's mastermind, we do it because we can really relate and really be honest with other men. Where you probably couldn't, or you would fake it a little bit if you had a woman, women in there. Um, so that's that. And if you're interested in joining our mastermind, like I said, it's free. Anybody can join. The only obligations are you need to consistently come to this Zoom call every Friday and come to one of the events. We don't make money on the events. Whatever the event is, like we're all going to Medellin, Colombia, whatever it costs, we all divide it evenly. So there's no money to be made. It's only about changing people's lives. And I promise, you know, my group has changed my life, and I'm sure it would change yours. But let's say you're in, Asia, and you're never going to be able to meet at 8:30 in the morning East Coast time, blah, 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 blah. You can create your own, and you should create your own mastermind. Be around like-minded people that are trying to do stuff like you're trying to do. It doesn't mean specifically like, hey, they're in real estate, but they're trying to better their life, and it will change your life. So that's my take on masterminds. Hopes it gives you guys a little bit of an insight. Have the best day of your life. Happy terrific Tuesday. See you guys.